Well, hello everyone and welcome back to yet again another great episode of Jazzy's Talking About Tapes, episode number 8. So, as always, before I dive into the video, I just would like to do a very special shout out to Ricky Ricardo out in the Netherlands. And I have another Ghostbuster item here that I expect you to find. You have until the end of this year to find both the Ghostbusters Atari game and the Ghostbusters cassette tape. Oh yeah, the Artista cassette tape soundtrack of the Ghostbusters. So you better get your ass in gear, Ricky Ricardo, and get this cassette tape. The clock is ticking. It's already going to be May soon. You better get on that. All right. But on to more important business. As always, thank you to everybody for all the comments, all the views, all the shares. I really appreciate it. Like I said in the previous video, if you know anybody that likes VHS tapes, collects VHS tapes, talks about VHS tapes, send them my way. Give them this link. Tell them about this YouTube channel. And obviously, tell them about this particular show. Because it's all about tapes. Alright. Enough plugging my channel. Let's get down to the good stuff. Today's episode is more clamshells, essentially. And just more big box tapes. You know, tapes that are boxed up. So I'm going to start with some fun stuff. This is Soup to Nuts from 1930. This is one of the very first films that the Three Stooges starred in. They obviously were in some different films back in the 30s and 40s, but this is what really got them off the ground. And I believe this is from some library collection. I had mentioned before, sometimes, you know, libraries would actually make their own tapes or distribute their own tapes. Also, we can't forget universities, a lot of schools, high schools, colleges, things of that nature would also have tapes that you could rent. So, like I said, I found this at a thrift store, but this could have came from anywhere. So there is that. And one quick thing to note, you gotta love that weird, gigantic white sticker that they just plastered over top of the tape. Very homemade looking for sure. Alright. These next four, I call them sort of the banged up boxed tapes because they literally are banged up. They were once normal cardboard tapes like the ones you see behind me, but somebody decided to go and cut them up. I don't know if you can tell, but if you look close, the cardboard, you know, was altered, and then they took a rental case and put it in there. So this could have been a family video store that did this, could have been a library, could have been a university. Who the hell knows? But it's always fun to come across these because a lot of times they didn't get rented out a whole lot. They didn't really get watched a whole lot, so they still look really good. They sound really good. And, you know, it's just a cheap way to pick up a tape if you just really want to watch it or you just want to own it and you don't care that the box is essentially destroyed. But here we have The Devil's Reign with William Shatner. And speaking of William Shatner, this is the film that they had to plaster cast, or do a cast, I guess, with plaster, of his face, because he gets killed, he gets, like, destroyed or something. I forget exactly what happens to him in this. And that plaster, you know, face of his is what went on to not only inspire, but then they ended up turning his face and using that plaster to create the Michael Myers mask that we all know. And keep Michael Myers in mind because we're going to come back around to him later in this video. But yes, The Devil's Reign is the infamous film where the Michael Myers mask essentially came from. So just some super nerdy horror knowledge that you may appreciate. All right. Up next is Eraserhead. Some asshole decided to destroy the box for Eraserhead and slap a horror sticker on there. Which I will say, it's not... I wouldn't necessarily consider this film to be horror. But it is definitely... There's some horrific imagery and some horrific things happening. But once again, somebody did a pretty piss-poor, cardboard cut job. And they slipped it in one of these plastic display cases. Also, it is true that the movie is PG, I believe. I believe the movie is PG, or it may not have a rating at all. But there isn't really anything in this movie that would make it have a worse rating than that. Honestly, it shouldn't be PG-13 because there's no nudity, there's no cursing, there's no violence, there's nothing inappropriate in it. So, okay, up next is the Gotcha movie, and not many people know, believe it or not, that this is based on a Nintendo Entertainment System game. Of course I gotta get it and show it. Yes, this Nintendo Entertainment System game. It's the game that requires the zapper. And it's a phenomenal game. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the earlier games on the system. And, yeah, there was a freaking movie made about it. It's actually a really good movie. It's very 80s. And, I don't want to say too much about it because you need to check it out. But there's like espionage, and there's like these two students are traveling to different countries, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool. And I just realized there's so many stickers on this on this tape for some reason. But yes, just another crazy looking VHS, and also they put this one in backwards. But whatever. I'm not even going to get into all that. But they did that one dirty. That VHS was done dirty. All right. This one is a little bit nicer. It's very strange because I've never seen anything quite like this. This is not cut with scissors. This is definitely more professionally done. So I don't know if this was actually sold this way, or once again, if maybe this was done by a university or a library. But here we have Classic Cinema Entertainment's Thriller Theater, Someone Behind the Door. And you guys are going to crack up because it doesn't appear to be one. But this is a Charles Bronson VHS. That's right. Someone Behind the Door is an excellent Charles Bronson film. Also, Anthony Perkins is in this film. So shout out to Shrinking Violet Jr. You will be forced to watch this movie whether you want to see it or not. It is phenomenal. Someone Behind the Door. I love this one. It's a weird one. But yes, definitely. If you have not seen Someone Behind the Door with Anthony Perkins and Charles Bronson, well, check it out. All right, keeping the video moving and grooving. I'm going through a lot of tapes here. This one I do plan on coming back around to. I might even do a whole video just about this tape. It's a very strange tape. But here we have a Something Weird video. Some VHS freaks might recognize that label. This is the Broadway Roadshow Rarities presentation of Birthright. And just for time's sake, I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to show it. But this is yet again another one of those movies where, when it's late on a Friday night or Saturday night, and you're not sure what to do, and, you got a little bit of Mary Jane hanging around maybe, some devil's lettuce. Well, go ahead and smoke that shit up and pop on Birthright, and you and your lady or man friend or whoever will have a great, great time. So check out Birthright. Great stuff. All right, we finally made it to the professionally done, legitimate tapes. These are not rentals. We don't have to be gentle. These are legitimate studio-released VHS clamshells. So we're finally on the clamshells. This is the Warner Brothers special edition of the Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart, of course, and Mary Astor. It's actually been a long, long time since watching this. And I definitely would like to come back around to this. This one, I forget exactly when. I believe this was 1941. If somebody wants to Google that and call me out on my mistake, but I do believe I am correct. But it's really cool. It came with this little lobby card of like what the original poster would have looked like back in 1941. So really neat stuff, and just a really nice looking tape. Okay, of course, moving on now, we are bumping over to 20th Century Fox. They are lucky enough to own the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And this is a great release of this movie because this is the widescreen series version, which always looks a lot better and usually sounds better because it's been THX, digitally remastered and all that good stuff. So, yeah. If you haven't seen this movie before, I'm going to be really surprised because it's just, at this point, it's beyond being, a cult classic. It's beyond being an underground midnight show. I feel like everybody should know about this movie. This movie needs no introduction. The freaking Rocky Horror Picture Show. Great stuff. That's another great, Friday night movie, Sunday night movie, any night movie. All right. Now, the next few is when it really starts getting fun. This is an Anchor Bay tape. Anchor Bay went all out with their VHS tapes. This is a part of the Hammer collection, of course. Frankenstein Created Monster. This is yet again another tape that I'm probably going to bring up. It might even get its own episode. What's interesting about a lot of these pictures is that these were all promotional pictures. So none of these, all the pictures that you're looking at, you don't actually see in the movie. So there's the tape, of course. And Anchor Bay liked to go a step further and do, a very special thing, which was, have stuff on the other side of the, paper, of the paper insert. And you would get a nice little, maybe director's comments or some neat factoids about the film and some behind-the-scenes pictures that you might not normally see. Now, sure, some of this stuff or all of it could be online, but back in the day, it was a huge deal to be able to see something like that. Now, all those other tapes don't have it. Don't worry, I already checked. And that's why I saved these ones for the last, for the end of the video. But yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like that, those little touches is what really made the Anchor Bay tapes stand out. Moving along to yet another great Anchor Bay tape, we have Manhunter. Manhunter is the essentially the prequel or the start to the whole Silence of the Lambs film series. And of course, many years later, this would be semi-remade and retitled Red Dragon with Edward Norton. I don't remember exactly when that was released. But for fans of Silence of the Lambs or just Hannibal Lecter films in general, I absolutely recommend Manhunter. And this is great because this is the director's cut, so it's going to look really good, as well as have all of the bonus deleted scenes and features and just little things that may not have been in the theatrical release. And of course, another beautiful dual paper, dual-sided factoid behind the scenes thingamajigger. I don't even know what these are called. If somebody knows the official name, I bet Retro Rook probably knows. I'm sure he'll school me. Those are called VHS outside-inside inserts or something like that. But regardless of what the hell they're called, they're cool. It's by Anchor Bay. And one other neat little factoid, this was a rental. So, as always, be kind, rewind. All right, we're not quite done with Anchor Bay yet. Here is Michael Myers. And speaking of the Shatner mask, there it is. There is the infamous Shatner mask. Of course, they had to put it on the back of the box so that it would, garner more rentals, perhaps garner more purchases. But the funny thing is they put the actual mask on the front cover, so that's what Michael Myers looks like, or at least that's what the mask looks like in part 4. Looks like shit, right? This is a collector's edition. Once again, I believe this has this. This may or may not have some deleted stuff, maybe a couple extra, maybe a minute or so of maybe a half a minute or something of more footage. I'll have to double check on that. If somebody wants to call me out on my bullshit, like Austin Wilcutt, you're more than welcome to. But regardless, looks great, sounds great. I try not to watch this one too much, just because it's such a favorite tape of mine. And this one didn't have any factoids, but it's got some killer, awesome pictures. And the fact that it's in widescreen just makes it a must-have and a must-own. So, just another beautiful VHS tape right there. All right. And yet again, Anchor Bay, I have the Evil Dead 2 tape. Yes, that's right. This is another phenomenal, awesome horror sequel. Don't get me started on the Evil Dead series. I might have to do an entire video just alone on the Evil Dead tapes. This one is also a widescreen presentation. This one also has behind-the-scenes pictures, as well as a ton of blurbs and paragraphs and factoids all about Evil Dead. This is the Killer Collection. Collector's item to have on VHS. So cool, so neat. And, it's one of those things that you don't see in the wild too often. So I'm sure this tape probably goes for a lot online, but it's not always about making money. Sometimes it's just about being happy. And I'm just so glad to have this and be able to watch it. It's got the trailer on it. It's got a video game preview. It's got some other random stuff on it. So, and that's the thing. All these tapes sometimes will have additional stuff at the end of the video after the credits. So you really have to hand it to Anchor Bay. And then finally, folks, the best, saving the best for last as always. We've got Dawn of the Dead, another killer sequel. Folks, when there's no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth. Yes, stay scared. George Romero signed it himself. Or maybe it's a digital signature. It doesn't matter. It's cool as hell that they put that on there. This, of course, is the director's cut. So this absolutely is going to have additional scenes, dialogue, and other little neat things that were deleted from the original. And the best one yet. They even colored this bitch in. My gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to need to take an enema and lay down because this is just crazy. I'm ready to pass out with excitement. You just don't see this with DVD. You don't see this with Blu-ray. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. There are some Blu-rays out there that do it, but it's so few and far between anymore. But back in the day, back in the 90s, back in the 80s, Anchor Bay gave a shit, and they came out with these phenomenal VHS tapes. So there you have it. This was yet again another phenomenal, awesome, just smorgasbord of tapes. And I hope everybody enjoyed it. I know this was a little bit of a longer video, so thanks for staying tuned and hanging out until the end. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please leave a comment either on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, on Instagram, it doesn't matter, but let me know which one was your favorite tape. And do you have an Anchor Bay tape that I didn't have? Let me know about it, and I'll keep an eye out for it. But otherwise, as always, I just love spreading positivity and cheering everybody up and getting everybody amped up for VHS tapes, and if you happen to come across these in the wild, I hope you find them for cheap, because as always, tapes should be cheap. You know what I mean? Come on, it's 2021 already. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're a new subscriber. And as always, hit the thumbs button. I don't care which way. I get points. I get positive points either way for my channel. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Jazzy Jeff out.
Here's some ice cream cakes that only Carvel makes. They're made fresh every day, 'cause that's the Carvel way. And while you're at the store, see Cookie Puss and more. And don't forget about Hug Me the Bear,
the friendliest bear.
Your participating Carvel dealer also has Hug Me the Bear and Cookie Puss dolls. You'll love them. Thank you.